Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of working on the disc gang. Well, sure enough I had a couple things pop up, so I didn't get a video when I took it apart. But I'll show you here right quick. As you can see, I've got it all dropped off. And I've already I took the blades all off and the spacers. And you can see right here, here's the bearing that was out. And so I put a new bearing into it. And then of course, I was hoping that the middle and outside bearings would still be good. However, once I got them out, yeah, they were, you could tell they needed to be replaced. So I put a new one right here in the middle. Out here on the outside end, and let's see here, I had a good used one that I went ahead and threw in there. It turns good, feels good. And usually I'll do that if I have a good used one on hand. Like either a setup like this, where you have 3 bearings on one gang, or like right here in the middle. Well, no, actually, you know what, come to think of it, I thought the middle might have just 2 carriers, but it has 3 also. But like I say, lots of times I'll do this. If I have a good used bearing, I'll put new ones in the middle and clear on the inside. And then I'll put a used one out here on the outside. Like I say, as long as it rolls good and feels real good, I'm happy with it, no big deal. Because if it should go out, as you can see, the bearings mount up on these brackets on the, well, it's facing out toward the outside edge of the disc. Which means if a used one should go out, it's not that big a deal to simply replace it. You do not have to take the gang off. You just simply spin the big jam nut loose, take this outside blade off, and the bearing will just come right off the end. You can have it done in 15 or 20 minutes, no big deal. Like I say, I do that putting used, like I say, good used bearings on, is I'll put them on the outside, either on the front and or on a back gang back there, on one of the back gangs. As long as it's on the outside, there where the big jam nut is, unless I'm replacing blades, and then, yes, I will put new bearings on. Everything. And or if I don't have a good used bearing, I'll put a new bearing on, no big deal. But like I say, I'll do that lots of times and put a good used bearing on the outside. That way, if it should go out, it's not that big a deal to replace. You can swap it in and out, and like I say, 20-minute job and you're back going again. But like I say, this one here, it rolls good. In fact, just simply turning it, it has the same amount of resistance as that brand new bearing does. And so, like I say, it feels real good, and so I'm gonna run with it. So yeah, that's got the new bearings put in, and I'm gonna get back to work here. I'm gonna get the forklift, get this rehung, and before I get it hung back on the disc, I'll get the old trusty impact right here. And go ahead and tighten it up. We'll take that back. I'm going to take and snug it down because it does have some looseness, like right there. You can see that big gap. Because I'm kind of suspecting that when I went to drop this thing out, a couple of the blades are kind of loose on me. And so I'm kind of suspecting what I may have to end up doing. I've actually done it to, let's see here, that wing gang over there and both of the back wing gangs. I've had to take and put like a spacer pipe into it right here. And let's see here, get one where I can show you easily. There, yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, you see that little piece of pipe right there? Several years ago, we were having trouble with these blades kind of loosening up a little bit. And, well, when you go tighten it down, of course, naturally, you're going over a square shaft that runs inside of here. That's the end right here, it's threaded. And so you could only tighten it down so far, and then the washer would hit those square shoulders and you couldn't tighten it down anymore. And so I took and cut these little spacer pipes that would go over top of that square shoulder, and that way you could tighten it down all the way and have it down good and tight. And like I say, I did that to both of the wing gangs on the back, the front right, and like I say, I happened to notice that on this front left. The middle, I've not had any trouble with those. They've been just fine, no big deal. And so I'm kind of wondering if I might not have to do that with this one. I'll see once I draw it down. As long as everything draws up good and tight, fine, no big deal. However, if I draw it down and, well, let me see here, I can just show you. And we start coming down to where you can see this first spacer is square. And so it'll go right over top the square shaft just fine. It's when the square shaft comes out right here, that's when it begins to hit into that round part right there, and then it'll stop you. And so I'm going to see if I can take and, well, I'll see if I need to take and cut a little piece of pipe like that for a spacer. And I'll take this part here off, put the pipe on, put that in place, put the big jam nut back on, and tighten it down, you're good to go. However, when you do that, you do have to take and readjust your hangers, because it pinches everything just a little bit, it throws everything off just a little bit, which means I had to take and loosen up these hangers right here. I will only do it on the outside and the middle, and most likely I'll have to take and move them in just a little bit. The inside one I'll leave that set and simply adjust from right here. And so yeah, like I say, I'll just see what happens when I get that on there, and see if I need to adjust my hangers here also. Take and juice them all up good. Just a little quick side note, if you want a good penetrating oil, that Deepcrete made by Seafoam, that's been about the best stuff I've ever found. And I've taken stuff off that's been real tight, and you'll see where it will literally go way deep on threads and that kind of stuff, especially on like old rusty bolts and that kind of thing. And so yeah, that's just a little part 2 update. And so I'll get this hung back in there, and the old 30-foot disc should be ready to roll. So hey, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.